Soundstripe.
Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to My Spouse is My Best Friend. I'm your co-host, Nicole.
And I'm Dr. Jason Green.
And today we want to talk about not just marriage, but grace in marriage. Having grace in your marriage. Because we know marriage is hard. It's tough.
So, to be honest, I think everybody messes up, right? We both fall short in areas on some days. And we both need grace.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we need mercy.
Yeah.
But mostly grace.
Yeah. Yes.
What is mercy?
What is mercy?
Mm-hmm.
Mercy is not getting the things that you deserve.
No.
That's grace. Getting the thing that you...
Mercy is not getting the punishment.
No. I was right.
No. Mercy is not getting what you deserve when you do something wrong.
Yes. That's what I said.
No, you didn't.
Okay, well, that's what I thought I said.
This is when I have to show her grace.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And then the other is
grace.
Not getting something that you do deserve.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the definitions. I just get them swapped sometimes. Don't tell my pastor.
So a simple definition. Grace is giving your spouse love, patience, and forgiveness.
Yes.
They may not deserve at the time.
Mm-hmm.
In the moment.
Or do deserve.
Or do deserve. No, you don't deserve it. That's what grace is.
I always deserve it.
You just rewriting your whole definition.
Yes.
Okay. Anywho.
Yep.
It's not about ignoring the issues or responding, but responding with love. I think we always talk about responding with love in those times.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when sometimes you say something that I just don't agree with, and instead of wanting to tell you the first thing that popped into my head, I just say, "Just give me a kiss, baby."
Yes,
and that makes everything okay.
But real talk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we expect a lot more from our spouses, right? Mm-hmm. I think we give grace easier to people on the street than we give grace to our own spouses.
True.
Because we expect more from them. Because, this is who we're married with.
Right.
We expect them to do more. We expect them to be on your side. We hold them to a higher standard. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes it's harder to give your spouse grace than it easier is to have, a random Joe.
Which I think is kind of interesting because strangers come and go, but your spouse is going to be there forever.
They're always there.
So I'd rather give you grace and work with you through whatever we're going through than a stranger, because I might not ever see them again.
That's true. And then pride, right?
Oh, man.
Pride in your marriages. And it goes both ways.
Right.
Where somebody has to be right instead of loving and saying, hey, I'll bow out of this one and just give you grace.
Yeah, because I might not understand where you come from and you might not be understanding where I'm coming from. But we give each other grace to walk in the other person's shoes to understand where they're coming from. Or at least try to.
At least try to. And I mean, we have to think, I always say this, we have to remember our spouse is our best friend. Mm-hmm. And they should have the greatest intention. And you should believe that your spouse has the greatest intentions for you. Sometimes just giving them grace at the moment, they might have had a bad day at work, or they might just got flipped off on the highway or something. They come in with a bad attitude. Show them grace, because sometimes it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
If you don't, you might flip off at the mouth, and then an argument and tension starts happening for nothing, when you could have easily just and lovingly just said, hey, I'm going to show her grace this time. Because there's times where I have to show her grace a lot. When she forgets stuff that I tell her 2 or 3 times in an argument that I didn't tell her that. Sometimes I've learned my wife and just said, I'm going to gracefully, instead of trying to convince her that I told her, just say, okay, baby, maybe you didn't hear me, or maybe you're right sometimes.
Yeah.
I know, right? But I'll just say, okay, well, this is what I said. And just bypass the whole thing instead of me trying to be right and trying to prove my point.
Yep. And sometimes I just say, I understand, and just keep going.
Mm-hmm. So what happens without grace?
Oh, World War III.
Tension builds. Small issues turn into conflicts. You start getting that emotional distance because now, I'm mad at you, you mad at me because somebody wasn't graceful in that moment.
Right. You're not trying to hear me. You're not trying to see me.
Yep. And marriage feels like keeping score instead. And, building that connection. And it's kind of has friction on the marriage.
Yeah.
When you're not graceful.
Yeah.
So what does grace look like? Practically.
Saying I understand.
Mm-hmm. Or choosing patience.
Yeah.
Instead of snapping back, right? Or letting go, like I said, letting go of the small things and sometimes just bowing out of it, out of the situation and say, you know what, it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
Let me show my spouse grace and love and either repeat what I have to say or say okay and move on, even though you're really right.
Yeah.
Keep it in your head.
Because when you marry your spouse, you marry their flaws and all, right?
Flaws and all.
And so you can't get mad because you know their flaws. You knew their flaws before you got married. You chose to accept them. So just like when you marry somebody, you marry their family, you marry their credit score, you marry their flaws, you marry their imperfections. And so this is what we like to teach our couples is, even though you have flaws, you strive for better. And that's why we talk about that triangle, because we're imperfect, right? Imperfect husband, imperfect wife, but we serve a perfect God. And so that's what we strive for each and every day.
Mm-hmm. And even if you do have to say something, start off with, you know what, I understand, but this is what I heard.
Yep.
Or this is how I took it, or whatnot. Just don't go in, get in on them, or try to, get your point across or whatnot. At least let them know that, hey, I understand where you're coming from, but, this is how I felt. Remember, use your I statement.
Yeah.
Not the you thing. Use your I statements.
And I just want to go back to what you said of not keeping score, right? Because we see a lot of couples well, he did this or she did this, or last time you said, or you're bringing up stuff in the past from 2015 to 2025 to justify the way you feel. So let's not do that. Let's not bring our past. So once you've worked through it, once you've had your wind down Wednesday, once you've talked it through and decide of, we're going to agree or we're going to agree to disagree, then just move on.
If you feel like you have to go back and pull something out your back pocket, you know you in the wrong.
Yeah.
So don't even do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you already talked about it, it's over, and you told your spouse, hey, we resolve this issue, and that comes back up later on, it was never resolved and you lied.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
And so that's a big thing. Don't hold things in your back pocket for ammunition. Move on. There's no reason to go back to the past.
Yeah, because if you ask me something that happened back in 2019, I don't remember, because I don't remember what I had for dinner yesterday.
Yep. And give your spouse the benefit of doubt. Like I said, remember that they probably have your best interest in heart, and sometimes it's not even what you thought it was.
Yeah.
It might have been something outside that came inside that the baggage brought in, and she deserved grace. It might be something that happened at work, and she's still frustrated about it, and you need to show her grace and love. Mm-hmm. And it might not even be you. So give them the benefit of doubt in those situations.
Yep, I agree. So again, the same grace that we receive from God is this grace that we are called to give to each other.
Absolutely. If God can give us grace, and I know some skeletons out there, I know my own skeletons. If he can show me grace and he can show you grace in your skeleton moments, I think your spouse deserves grace as well. Yeah. Because when you get to them doors, you want him to be graceful and merciful. Mm-hmm. So why not do it with your spouse as well?
Agreed. Right? Agreed.
All right. So our takeaway this week, think about, I'm sure every marriage this week, something's going to come up.
Yeah.
Before you speak, think about grace. Say, hey, how can I apply grace in this situation? Or how can I say this in a loving way to, bolster or strengthen our connection with my spouse?
Yeah, because remember, marriage is not competition. You're in it together. You're one flesh.
Mm-hmm. And it's compromise sometimes.
Yep, I like it.
All right. Well, that's it for this week.
It is.
So drop your comments, smash the like button, visit our My Spouse, My Best Friend, and give a thumbs up. Did I get them all? I'm trying, y'all.
Yeah, he's getting good.
Smash, like, follow, and subscribe to our Lovebird community. Oh, I got it, girl.
Hercules.
See y'all next week.
Bye.